designers, if you're in a rush and you're actually just looking for a quick video which is going to explain to you the professional branding process from start to finish with examples, then you're in the right place. So what I'm going to do in this video is take you through a really quick summary of what I do in my professional brand identity design process using an example of a client that I worked on about a year ago. If you're interested in the more in-depth version and you've got a bit of time and a cup of tea, then please check out the link in the description for the really long version of this video. But for the sake of time and for those of you who are in a bit of a rush, here's the 5-minute rundown of what my identity design process looks like from start to finish. Okay, so jumping straight in, the first aspect of any really successful identity design project is the strategy phase. And I always do strategy with my clients. It's a non-negotiable. Clients may book strategy with me and no identity, but they cannot move forward with identity without a strategy process. And this process really tends to take about 2 weeks or so. And we really go through really in-depth concepts. So we talk about the brand's character, how we're going to describe how users move through experiencing the brand. We develop user personas, we develop the character of the brand, what the buying journey might look like. And really we discuss all of these things in about 2 or 3 different workshops. Sometimes it's one workshop, but basically the strategy phase is absolutely key. And it's all about aligning the client's goals and vision and ideas with my ability as a designer to bring those ideas to life. And without doing some sort of strategic development process or some sort of workshop or some sort of discovery session with your client, you really are shooting in the dark. And so this is a vital part of the process for me. From here, we go into creative direction. And creative direction is probably my favorite part of any design project in the identity phase. And this is really where we're going to wrestle with ideas and inspiration. And I'm going to pull together stylescapes or mood boards, depending on the client and the project, which is going to help us lay the foundation for where we're taking the brand in the future with design. So here you can see for this client, I did 2 different directions originally. Some of them were, some of the direction worked and some of it didn't. And so we ended up doing a second round and we finalized on this mood board or this art board, stylescape, whatever you want to call it, for the direction of the identity project. And so this really guided us in what we were going to do for logo style, what the color palette was sort of tending towards, and what sort of imagery and feel we were really going for. This is also an absolutely key part of the process because it helps align you and the client visually. Now that you've done it with words, you're now doing it visually. And so this really allowed us to go into the logo design process far more seamlessly. So then in my process, I jump straight into conceptualizing logos, using my stylescape as an example, and basically just exploring with fonts and different graphics. I pull in some of my inspiration and I'm really just sort of typing out keywords and just trying things and really exploring. And this is sort of one of 2 or 3 different artboards that I opened up and explored with for this project. But you can really see that there is just a whole lot of experimentation and exploration going on. And this process tends to take about a week to 10 days, sometimes as long as 2 weeks for me, just depending on how the project is going and what I've got on at the time as well. So this really starts to sort of build itself out. And then we go into the brand presentation part of the project. And this phase of the project is really where I'm now going to go and show the client what I've designed for them. And we actually went through 2 rounds of revisions with this client. I presented a first round of identity for them and they came back with a bit of feedback, and then I tackled the second round with them on this process. So we jumped in and we did a round of refinements on the logo. So you can see this is the original logo, and basically their feedback was that it felt a little bit too 70s. It didn't quite feel as modern as they wanted it to feel. And so we did a whole round of refinements, and I came up with 2 additional concepts, which, as you can see, are still very closely linked to the original. And I think this is key. I personally work off of the 1 concept logo method, which means I'm able to put my full time and attention into building out what is effectively a full logo suite for the client before they've even approved the first logo, which may seem insane, but it works really, really well to show the client basically what the end goal of the project is going to look like. Just showing somebody a logo on a black and white piece of paper or on a black and white screen doesn't help them envision how the brand is going to live and breathe in real life. So this process of showing them full identity works really, really well to get us closer to a yes the first time round, or at least to reduce the number of revisions that we're going to go into for the identity. So when we were done with that, we essentially then went ahead and built out the rest of the brand identity. And that then got translated at the end of the day into a style guide. Now, after you've built out the collateral part of the project, then you want to start adding those things to the style guide. It's key to keep in mind that sometimes clients won't come to you for the whole shebang. They'll just come to you for the logo and sort of core identity part of it. And maybe you won't do collateral, which is why I haven't included it here. But really the core identity process includes and sort of wraps itself up with the style guide. And this is kind of the end of the process for me, barring sort of offboarding them with some calls. But the last sort of part of the design process is taking everything we've designed up to this point and putting it into a comprehensive style guide, which is going to help my client familiarize themselves with their brand, create content, maintain their brand, and basically understand how to use all of the beautiful visual assets that we've created for them and sustain them going forward. Because it's a bit like giving a power drill to a beginner. You want to really give them some instructions and time to get familiar with how to actually use the tool, and it's the same for branding. Okay. So while a brand identity process usually takes weeks and weeks and it's a lot of work and can't possibly be summarized in about 5 minutes, there you go. There is the really quick high-level summary of what my process looks like. And just to recap, we start off with brand strategy, we move into creative direction. From there, we go into the actual logo design and the creating of the assets and the first brand presentation. And once we've gone through our rounds of refinements, we move into developing the collateral. And if that's not part of the project, I move straight into the style guide and creating all the final logo assets and exporting everything for my client. And then I offboard them and wish them the best for their future in their new branding. So with that being said, thanks so much for watching. If you have any questions or anything that you'd like to know or see more of, please leave a comment down below and I'll reply down there. So thanks for watching again, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.